who am I? Who am I to the people? I have a kid now, like I said before. Honestly, it's just that fatherhood time. I haven't yet spent much more time with my son as I would want to. And he'll understand that as he gets older. If I can see, like, how can I change and how can I give my son more knowledge rather than luxury things, then I'm going to do that.
Mamá, yo quiero, mamá. Mamá, yo quiero, mamá. Ah, Chelita, mamá. Ah, Chelita, mamá. Mamá, yo quiero, mamá.
My father, though, is the one that really, he knows me best. He's seen me at my worst. He's seen me at my best. And he's going to be the one that definitely is going to tell me the things that I really need to focus on how can I beat this guy. I trust him. I trust him with my life.
It's the first minute. It's gonna break.
The first minute hurts.
I mean, what role do I play in people's eyes? Now that I have a child, it's really about embracing fatherhood. Honestly, I haven't had as much time with my son as I'd like, but he'll understand that as he grows. My focus is figuring out how I can guide him, how I can give him wisdom and understanding rather than just material things. And that's exactly what I aim to do.
I want to see that, my father didn't become trainer of the year just by luck. In 2020, we beat the most decorated fighter pound for pound during that time, Vasily Lomachenko. That was from him. He told me how the game plan had to go.
And he'll push him and he'll freaking just try dogging him. But he's trained for that. He's trained to keep on doing that every round. So when he spars,
make everybody tired.
So when he spars, I tell him, okay, you could box. Yeah. You could box, but what's gonna happen when you can't box no more? You get tired of it.
The first bell even rings. This fight has already started. Not in the ring, not under the glare of lights, but in the moments where conviction is challenged and routines are exposed. Two fighters, each with their own rhythm, converging on the same night from completely different paths.
Punch your body, go on top, and then you go on top. Good. Go. That head.
Concentrate.
You're doing things like moves never do it.
Teofimo Lopez has always operated in that uneasy zone where confidence flirts with defiance, where belief isn't handed down through approval, but honed through doubt. He's never required perfect conditions to perform. In fact, chaos has often been the trigger that brings out his peak. And that's exactly what makes his approach to preparing for Shakur Stevenson so compelling.
I didn't want to go into the gym. I didn't, especially when I had to swim. That was painful. But it was the training, the work ethics that you have to put in between the miles of running and the depths of how you have to sacrifice your whole body in this. A lot of people don't understand, even to this day, how much we have to really do, how much we beat up our body.
So when he comes here, go to the body. When he comes here, go to the body. Esta. Oh, beautiful.
He can't touch it, champ. He can't touch it.
Haven't thrown him off. This time, the distractions haven't thrown him off. They've sharpened his focus. Behind closed doors, Teofimo's training has been about refining the areas that don't depend on pure adrenaline, managing distance more effectively, maintaining discipline between bursts, and imposing structure on situations he previously would have handled by instinct alone.
You know who that is, right?
You like really looking.
My father put me in with the top guys, professional fighters at like 12, 13 years old. And that was something that I really enjoyed the most, because it was hard. I would cry. I would run away. I didn't like it. And I would tell him like, this is not for me. I want to quit. And he would just, nope, no, you could do this. My father would flip it around sometimes and say, okay, you want to quit? We'll quit. And literally I would stop for maybe a day or two and bug him, be like, hey, I want to go back in the gym. So I believe we had this connection, obviously, since birth.
This isn't simply on raw power or explosive athleticism. It's on patience, precise timing, and the recognition that against a fighter like Shakur, opportunities are limited. You can sense that this camp is centered on accountability, less performing for the crowd, more confronting himself. Every drill, every round is crafted to answer one key question. Can Teofimo remain razor-sharp when the fight's pace intentionally slows?
Serious and stuff, yeah, that's to get focused on the fight, but gotta make it a fun camp. So, right now, I'm gonna blow my dad's ear.
About 13,000 years ago, this was a dominant paradigm in the study of ancient America. But it was wrong. The old notion had been completely overtaken. Fossilized human footprints have been found in the New Mexican desert.
I don't feel good, bro. Why you do that to me, bro? And you film that shit too, man? You better erase that shit.
He understands that Shakur excels when opponents lose their cool. So now, the focus is on resisting that temptation and learning to apply pressure without haste. This isn't the Teofimo who chases openings. It's a fighter aiming to command them. And that's the most threatening version of him.
To take breaks in between camps, or even in camp. We're so focused at what's at task that we end up forgetting to have fun. We have a long week of training. Let's reward ourselves for that week.
On the other side, there's Shakur Stevenson, a fighter who has never relied on chaos to find himself, because discipline has always been his natural state.
Today we're doing sparring breakfast. So we're gonna do a little mixed potato hash with some chicken, sausage, and some protein pancakes and some ancient grain sourdough.
Me.
Ready, Freddy.
To me, too slow.
Feel too slow. Get out the way. It's all that matters. It's all that matters.
If I'm Zach, I'm gonna keep walking to you, and I will let.
He got a catch. It's only 3 rounds.
Yeah, get ready. We need to be pushed for this. Bring the smoke, buddy. He doing it. Great. Yep, that's right. Yep. July 12th, demolishment. We're gonna demolish. Guys way too slow. Sports too sharp, too fast, too strong.
Teofimo hones his edge through controlled aggression, while Shakur sharpens his by stripping away anything unnecessary. His preparation for this fight has been methodical, intentional, and almost surgical. Each session focuses on repetition, precision, and making the right decisions even when fatigued. This camp isn't about reinventing the wheel, it's about perfecting it. Every drill reinforces what already defines him as a threat: managing distance, maintaining balance, mastering timing, and staying mentally unshaken regardless of chaos unfolding around him.
There we go. There we go. Left 15, all the way down.
Tweaking a day.
Yeah, that's that prep. That's what you already been doing?
Yeah.
That got it.
Let me say that.
Good. That's good.
I feel great. Sprints kind of be getting me right, get my conditioning right. Sometimes in a fight could turn into a sprint.
Drop the heavy up. You gotta give.
Let me see.
Which is training like someone bracing for challenges, not surprises. He's ready for the moments when Teofimo unleashes, when the crowd erupts, or when momentum threatens to shift. Every drill, every repetition is about staying composed under pressure. He doesn't rush through rounds, chase flashy reactions, or mistake activity for control. Every move is calculated, removing options, creating traps, and provoking mistakes without forcing action. Shakur understands that this fight won't be decided by emotion or flurries. It will be won in the quiet spaces between punches, where smart positioning outshines raw power and measured patience outlasts impulsive bursts. His training mirrors this philosophy perfectly. He isn't preparing to impress. He's preparing to deliver.
Big fight coming up. I heard you was the one that wanted to fight, right?
Yeah. I actually set this fight up, and I honestly did it because I wanted to push myself. I know that Tio is a tremendous fighter. I know he's on an extremely high level, and I feel like, well, I know that I can beat him, but I know that this should be a tough set, so I'm ready.
Who were some of the other options you had?
Lamont Roach.
That would have been a real good fight, man. But I mean, Tio, he's a bigger name though, so I see why you went with him.
Yeah, bigger name, and also he got the more accolades. He's been undisputed before. He's won belts at 35, won belts at 30, at 40. So he's more accomplished. So I know that would be a better name.
Shakur is quietly honing control and precision. Teofimo Lopez is doing something equally telling in his own style. He speaks with the conviction of someone who truly values ownership. Listening closely, it's not about selling an image to anyone else. It's him reaffirming it to himself. Teofimo isn't broadcasting bravado. He's defending his space. When he says Shakur can't take what he's fought for, that's not hype. It's a statement of identity. What stands out is how aware he is. References to video games, the Roy Jones Jr. comparison, studying legends like Jones and Henry Armstrong. It shows this isn't just ego workouts. It's genuine curiosity and preparation. Teofimo recognizes that pure athleticism won't carry him past Shakur Stevenson. His digging for layers, deception, timing, subtle feints, the small adjustments that don't make highlights but can completely change a round. That's the kind of work that separates good fighters from elite ones, and it's exactly what makes this camp, and this fighter, so dangerous.
To realize that you don't know everything, right? And sometimes you have those like the likes of Roy Jones Jr., who was arguably the best fighter in the 90s, even the early 2000s, and for him to want to help me in some sense, maybe there's something that I'm not possibly there yet with that he could possibly add to my arsenal, and I would love to see more. I would love to learn more. That's like some type of
What stands out is how openly he admits he doesn't have all the answers. That isn't insecurity, it's progress. When he starts talking about mentality, faith, and destiny, you can hear how deeply this fight is connected to how he sees his legacy. He isn't focused on winning a war of words with Shakur. He's focused on believing in himself more completely. His response to Shakur being labeled boring is especially telling. He doesn't brush it off or get defensive. He accepts it and flips it, essentially saying that's exactly what he plans to interrupt. That's Teofimo in essence. He doesn't avoid narratives. He runs straight at them. So while Shakur is quietly refining control and precision, Teofimo is building certainty amid the noise, breaking things down, making adjustments, and reinforcing the idea that preparation backed by belief leads to domination. You don't have to agree with his outlook to recognize what's happening here. This doesn't sound like someone unfocused or reckless. It sounds like a fighter who knows exactly what he's walking into. And that version of Teofimo Lopez is a serious threat heading into this matchup.
Is it like seeing him now kind of face to face? When you look at him, what do you see? Because obviously you're not locked in just yet, and the closer it gets to a fight, obviously things turn a little bit. But when you do look at Shakur, what do you think of him?
I think I don't think too much of it. You know, I think that he believes in himself. That's one thing. But I'm here to destroy his dreams and all that he wants to do and become. You can't take this from me. I worked very hard for it. I've bled for this. And I'm not taking nothing from him, but I just believe that what's gonna happen next is for destiny in the boxing ring to decide.
After hearing Teofimo speak with that blend of certainty, self-awareness, and clear ownership, the tone shifts the moment Shane mostly weighs in. It feels like a seasoned mind stepping up to the board, pausing everything, and saying, "Let's strip this down to the truth." When someone with Mosley's resume calls this matchup a true coin flip, that isn't hesitation. It's an acknowledgement of real danger on both sides. What makes his take land is how simple he keeps it. No buzzwords, no resume comparisons. Just one central issue: who asserts control first? That's where all the pressure lives. Shakur's goal is to drain the fight of chaos, slow it down, and quietly take ownership round by round, like lowering the lights until the other guy realizes he's trapped. Teofimo, on the other hand, has the ability to instantly change the atmosphere. With one burst, he can turn movement, speed, and power into pure disruption, mostly pointing out that Teofimo is a legitimate boxer by choice, not accident, is crucial. That part often gets overlooked. This isn't a reckless puncher swinging on hope. This is someone who solved Lamanco on the fly, adapting in real time against one of the most complex fighters of his era. That's not something you stumble into. And it's exactly why Mosley treats this fight with the kind of respect reserved for matchups where control, not hype, decides everything.
I think you're going to need a couple of rounds, but the first round is going to be very interesting. Maybe you see some tails, but I think maybe 2 or 3 you're going to start seeing one leave the other. Because I don't think that, Shakur might show some different, if he has to go after Teofimo, he might show some different type of heart that we haven't seen or different type of fighting we haven't seen. And vice versa, whereas Teofimo's hitting him with different shots off the angle, that is kind of giving, Shakur Stevenson trouble. We'll see about.
Discussion about moving up in weight comes from experience, not fear or guesswork. There's no rush to conclusions, just a calm curiosity about how speed holds up once extra size enters the equation. That veteran perspective shows again when Shane refuses to hand out praise too early. In his view, the opening rounds are about gathering information, but by the second or third, the fight will start to take shape and one man's influence will already be stamped all over it. Either Shakur begins to pull away subtly, using angles, distance, and timing to create separation without noise, or Teofimo starts connecting from awkward positions, the kind of shots that make you rethink everything you planned. That's where the fight turns. The most telling moment is how casually Mosley dismisses predictions altogether. He's not interested in calling it ahead of time. He's just watching. And that says everything about this matchup. You don't break this fight down to sound clever. You study it to appreciate how razor-thin the differences are at this level. This isn't about resumes or paper comparisons. It's about who can drag the other into unfamiliar territory and make them operate there. And when a Hall of Famer says is reaching for snacks instead of keeping score, that's your cue. Lock in. This one is going to expose something meaningful.
But Teofimo he can box when he wants to. Like, he's shown he has a slick style too when he wants to do that.
When he wants to do that. So if you have a slick style and you got power and you got the speed too, and you're fighting at 140, so let's see, I don't know if Shakur Stevenson is going to get slower moving up in weight or not, where Teofimo can hit him. Maybe he was really fast at 130, 26-30, maybe 35, but 40, you put on a little bit more weight. I think that he holds the weight probably really, really good, but you just don't know.
Right after Shane mostly weighs in with the calm authority of someone who's witnessed every kind of madness the ring can produce, Wade Plemons steps back in and subtly shifts the focus. Suddenly, this isn't just about how styles interact. It becomes a discussion about timing, purpose, and boxing finally getting out of its own way. Listening to him, you can't help but think, this is exactly what the sport has been missing. Two top-tier fighters still in their physical prime, not aging on opposite sides of negotiations, not ducking smoke or hiding behind reasons, just stepping up and making the fight when it actually matters. What stands out is that Wade's enthusiasm doesn't feel manufactured. It comes across as genuine, almost relieved. He talks about this matchup like it had to happen, not just like it would be fun to watch. And that distinction matters. This isn't being framed around knockouts or social media clips. It's about hierarchy. It's about who truly operates on a higher level. Shakur isn't walking and trying to win over casual fans. His goal is to dominate positioning, dictate tempo, and control the mental space. Teofimo isn't showing up to hang around or edge out rounds. He's there to prove that his confidence isn't empty talk, that it's real and it's earned. Wade leaning into the idea that both fighters are operating off a certain level of self-belief, bordering on delusion, is what really cuts through. That's the uncomfortable truth about greatness. Elite fighters have to see themselves as untouchable, even when evidence says otherwise. Shakur believes Teofimo is fooling himself. Teofimo believes Shakur hasn't encountered his reality yet, and that tension is exactly why this matchup works. When two men both see themselves as the inevitable answer, the ring becomes the only place where that question gets resolved. And once the bell rings, there's no hiding. The truth shows itself.
Is delusional, Shakur has that same delusion. It's what propels both of them to the highest degree. Now, here was them facing off a couple of months ago, I think, at this point. And this is what I was talking about. Shakur is, in stature, the bigger guy, which is crazy because he fights at a lower weight. He is a bit more skinny, obviously, but now he's coming up to 140, and it feels like Teofimo Lopez can't go much bigger than 140. Like, I've heard him talk about going to 147. That would be the highest I would think Teo should go, but here's their face-off.
Well, quick, Izzy, you should be in the middle. I know, I'm the...
Fine, but not in a way that jumps off the screen. Refined in the sense that everything you try gets shut down.
Like,
and you're
these
left
dudes
wondering
don't
why
hate each
nothing is
other,
landing.
and you don't necessarily
That's the
have to. There are
unsettling
certain
part.
fights where that
And when a
level
trainer
of
who has
venom
watched
is
top-tier
needed.
fighters come and Go says he places him above the rest, that's not bias or a soundbite. It's a quiet acknowledgement that real levels exist in boxing. What really stands out is how Buddy lays out the road to an upset without softening the message. He's basically saying that if you think Teofimo can just rush in and turn this into a brawl, you're already missing the point. That's a reality many fans don't like to hear. This matchup isn't about toughness or highlight reel moments. It's about concentration, patience, and being mentally locked in at Shakur's level for 12 straight rounds. And that kind of focus is draining. And Buddy isn't minimizing Teofimo at all. In fact, he respects him enough to be honest. To beat Shakur, you don't just need strength or explosiveness. You have to be smarter in the ring than you've ever been before.
And Teo, because they're both very technical. Both guys understand the sweet science and fight very smart. No one takes a ton of risks. Teo does have a bit more pop in his shots and can put you down, but if you take the risk of making a massive mistake versus a guy like Shakur, then Shakur will outbox you, outclass you, and take you into deep water. So we'll see. Stylistically, we'll see how this thing goes, because I don't see a super over-aggressive Teofimo Lopez. I don't see that. I don't see Shakur getting too out of pocket with him either, but we will have, I think, a very, very high-skill, high-level boxing match.
I'll be honest. I'm going to be real honest. He was a lot better.
How many fighters can actually maintain that level of control once the pressure tightens? That's exactly why his assessment carries so much significance. He's not predicting a runaway fight or an easy night. He's explaining that Shakur wins by owning the tempo from start to finish. A small step back, a clean reset, confidence slowly chipped away, rhythm disrupted, round after round quietly taken. So when Buddy says Shakur stands out more than anyone else, even compared to the biggest names, that isn't a slight toward others. It's perspective earned through experience. This isn't a loud or dramatic pick. It's a calm caution. When you step across the ring from Shakur Stevenson, you're not just facing another fighter. You're facing someone who's already mapped your decision before you make it.
Shakur is phenomenal. I mean, he's just phenomenal. Excellent boxer. Cat-like reflexes, sharpshooter, knows what he's doing in there, great ring generalship, know when to use his jab. I mean, Shakur he's so good that it might be to a default. And I'm going to tell you why I say that. You got somebody like Roy Jones. who was so good that he ain't fighting nobody. These guys are number ones. And it's just that he's so good, he make these guys look like nobody. So they say, oh, well, he ain't fought nobody.
All the pieces are lined up, the meaning becomes impossible to miss. This matchup isn't defined by who made more noise at a press conference or who sounded tougher on a microphone. It boils down to preparation versus unpredictability, control versus chaos, calculated conditioning versus emotional fuel. On one side, Shakur Stevenson operates quietly, fine-tuning his timing, stamina, and decision-making as if every round has already been planned out. On the other, Teofimo Lopez flourishes in uncertainty, feeding off pressure and carrying the ability to overturn expectations in a split second when no one sees it coming. Every viewpoint we've heard, whether from fighters, trainers, or analysts, keeps circling back to the same fundamental truth, just from different perspectives. This isn't a showcase fight or gimmick. It's a real danger for both men. One poor decision, one emotional